Hola guys and girls, and welcome to yet another draft analysis for another league I will be joining in this off-season of the GBA. And I did join the PMC, the Pokémon Masters Cup, in their 5th season. This is gonna be my main off-season league. The baby league before, like I already know, it's more of a fun league. It's a very new concept, and yeah, that's more for fun. This is like the serious league. Of course, in both I'm gonna aim for the cup, but this is like quote-unquote standard draft league format, if you want to call it that. The PMC uses a very similar drafting style to the GBA. They have the tiers. Basically, it's a GBA style draft, just a few tier changes and all this good stuff. And yeah, that's basically how we go into this draft. Uploads to that will be each Sunday. For the baby league, by the way, it will be each Saturday. I don't know yet if I want to do a team builder for baby league. I'm pretty sure I want to do a team builder for this, for the main draft league, but let me just know in the comments if you want to see team builders for the baby league as well, or if it's just enough if I just talk in the beginning of the match like this, blah, blah. You know the deal. Either way, PMC, Pokémon Masters Cup, I ended up being at the 13th drafting position out of 16 coaches, so rather late in the draft. So yeah, basically I had a few ones in mind I wanted the first round. But of course I have to wait basically to see what the others pick, because if you're 13th round you can't say like I want Tapu Koko or I want, I don't know, Celesteela. These are the mons which go in like the first 5 picks, so you can never expect to get those. I mean, if they're around you can still get them, but if you're that late in the draft you can't really make plans for what your first pick is going to be. You just have to see what's left, what's the best out of that, and then you pick that and then draft a little bit around that. If you know, in overall, my drafting style is that I never really make full-on plans, like, I want this. I just have my checkpoints I want to have, like, I want to have, my first round pick is most likely a very good mon, and then I want to have my grass and water core. Like I already said, I had already a little bit of talk about why fire, water, grass core is not really what you need. Then my favoring steals, electric immunity, hazard removers, staff rocks, enough speed, all this good stuff, and then see which ones are left, what did the others draft, what is in which tier, so I can see like maybe I can get the best mon out of tier 4 earlier, so I can get a very good mon there, and I can step back on the higher tier, stuff like that. So I'm more of a intuitive or drafter. Like I look a lot at what the others draft and what's left in the tiers, but it's not like I go before the draft even starts and make a plan. So that's just overall on how I draft. I might even do a video about that. I was thinking about that, like how to draft like me, like or what my tips and advice is for going into a draft, but either way, that's a new video. Now we're just talking about this draft analysis, this draft of PMC. Like I said, I was 13th pick, and what ended up at my turn, I was pretty surprised that this mon was still around. I'd never used it actually, and once I saw it still around, I definitely want to draft it, and that's not other than Mew. Mew was still around at the 13th pick. I never used Mew in league format yet. Of course, we all know Mew, like blah blah blah, the most versatile mon ever. You know the deal. 100 stats overall, gets every HM and TM and tutor move, and a few moves itself, and yeah, it's very good. It's Mew. What can you say about Mew? It's mainly the trouble with Mew is always that you kind of get overwhelmed with the options, or one other dangerous thing is that you end up forcing Mew into a certain role because the rest of the draft can't support it. The main thing is like you're missing a good hazard remover, and then more often than not, Mew is going to be a hazard remover. I'm not going to say Mew is a very good hazard remover, but it kind of defeats the purpose of drafting the most versatile mon if you bring it most of the weeks the same way. That's the kind of a trap a few people fall into when drafting Mew, that they kind of force it into a certain role each week, depending on how they draft. So the most important thing, basically, once you draft Mew, you just have to look at the whole draft as if Mew wouldn't be there. You still need all your roles. You don't have a hazard remover yet. You don't have a, I mean, you do have a bulky psychic type, so I guess you can check that off the list. But don't look at Mew at, oh, I already got a hazard remover, I don't need to look at that now. Just take Mew off your list, and you now with your remaining, in this case, 10 mons, you have to still fill all your spots. So then you can use Mew to the fullest potential, where you can like fill a certain niche role you need to do with certain movesets and items and all this good stuff. Either way, that's Mew. Like I said, can do everything. You know what Mew does. So it does basically everything. It depends a lot on how to use it. It's not an easy one to use. At least, I mean, I never used it before, but that's what I see from others, and I will see if Mew is the one for me, or if not, I will find this out this season. That's what these off-season leagues are for, trying out new mons. In general, I like trying out new mons, but either way, that's enough talk about the first pick. Now looking at the next pick, and many people might be surprised why this is my round 2 pick, and it's not other than Nidoqueen. I got Nidoqueen because, like I said, PMC has a few tier changes in comparison to GBA, and Nidoqueen is actually tier 3 in this draft. And I knew I wanted Nidoqueen as a tier 3 because I think it's great value. I was in agreement of raising Nidoqueen to tier 2, so for one, I think it's a bit low right here, so I want to take advantage of that. And other than that, I don't think Nidoqueen is necessarily a round 2 pick, but it's definitely a round 3 pick. And since I'm at pick 13, basically it would snake back to me, and then it would go back to me like rather early after Mew, but then I have to wait a lot of picks will happen before I can grab Mew in round 3. So I want to get it earlier, I want to get in round 2. That's not the this will happen more often in this draft, that I get like a lower tier pick earlier, because that's how the, just on how the draft is formed and what other people were missing and stuff like that. But yeah, Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is superior to Nidoking in my opinion. Great electro immunity, nice poison typing, it's a great fairy resist, great fighting resist. It's missing reliable recovery, but its stats makes it that it can still be very bulky, and Nidoqueen is... I named my Nidoqueen in the past Berry, because Nidoqueen is like the best mon to put a Berry on. You just put a Berry on for the one weakness, the one coverage move the mon has, and you can check it with that. Be it like a Psychic move if you're facing a Fast Action type, if it gets Extra Chance 3 or Psychic, something like that. Or the Ground Berry if you're facing like a Fighting type which gets Earthquake. Or like the, I don't know what else, a Water Berry if you're facing like something with water coverage and you resist the rest. Ground the Poison gives you very nice immunity / resistances. And with the Berry you can more often than not just check whatever coverage moves your opponent has. So yeah, that's where Nidoqueen excels. Of course it's very strong as well with Sheer Force and nice 92 attacks at 75 special attacks. It can run mix. It's not the strongest, but with Sheer Force and all the coverage it can basically hit everything for super good damage, just through being super effective and being Sheer Force boosted. And yeah, that's the equal for you. It gives me Toxic Spikes as well. Gives me already grounded Poison type, so I don't have to worry about Toxic Spikes myself. And of course Delphox as well. So hazards, I got most of them checked barring Spikes and Sticky Web, where Sticky Web is not as important, but definitely a Spiker is something you might want in your draft. But yeah, that's why I got Nidoqueen. Now snaking back to me. Of course, like I already mentioned, I didn't want to treat Mew as my main hazard removal. I basically looked at it not being in my draft at all. So I want to get my hazard remover next, and I looked at which mons were still left. Like the fairies are kind of gone, like all the Tapus were gone in the first round, so there's nothing I could have done there. And yeah, fairies were getting kind of thin, so I was looking at the fairy, who can hazard removal, and the best fairy which can do both of this is none other than Togekiss. Togekiss being in a tier 2 in this draft, which is a GBA as well, so not like I got a lot of value out of that. Or like more value than with Nidoqueen. Togekiss, you all know what Togekiss does. One of the favorite mons of Amway was Serene Grace, Air Slash. It switches the opposition down. It's and yeah, it has very nice defensive capabilities as well. Very nice bulk on the physical and special side. So you know, physical both sides. A nice Scarf as well, just to like Scarf, Air Slash, flinch your opponent down. And has some wall break potential with Nasty Blood. Of course, it is a Defogger, it's a Cleric as well with Heal Bell. Gets a recovery, and Rose can use Wish to support the team. And of course, the fun Hassle set. Like it has 50 attack set, but with like Hustle and Choice Band, you can maybe do some damage with Extreme Speed. But yeah, that's more like a meme thing. But other than that, Togekiss gets all the coverage you want, basically as a fairy. Sadly, it's missing Moonblast, only gets Dazzling Gleam. But it still has Fire Blast, it has Aura Sphere, a lot of stuff you want in a fairy to hit the... an offensive fairy in a few weeks you want to run it. It gets Tailwind support as well for the team. Overall, Togekiss is a great fairy. The only downside I want to say with Togekiss is that it's weak to rocks, and you don't really want to defend this monster weak to rocks. I had Togekiss before, and I had a pretty rock-weak team overall on that team, so that kind of hurt me. But I hope this time I can prevent that in my overall drafting and have my Togekiss, yeah, better around. And yeah, spamming Air Slash is always fun because flying spam, you all know how strong that is. You all know why Talonflame was so good back in Gen 6. And yeah, that's Togekiss for you. Now looking at the next pick, my team is kind of Ice Weak. Togekiss is Ice Weak, my Nidoqueen is Ice Weak, and one thing which covers Ice weaknesses, which is still around, or two things basically, two things which are still on my draft and covers Ice weakness are Steel type and a Water type. Looking right now at what the others drafted, the Water types were getting thin, the good Water types that is, so I definitely want to get my Water type first. On Steel I had a bit more options, of course the Prime Steel types, like Jirachi, Excadrill, Skarmory, all these prime Steel types I want to say, or Mega Scizor. These were already gone, but there's still some lower tier Steel types left which I could look for on getting. And the mon I got right here is none other than Vaporeon. Vaporeon is back, the captain of my Season 7? Season 6 team of GBA? I actually don't try to remember. But I got Vaporeon, great bulky water. It is very one-dimensional, it is a good bulky water, it has wish support, Scald, Ice Beam. It was a very, very similar set each week, maybe special defensive, maybe more physically defensive. Either way, wish support for the team once again. Oh, I forgot Togekiss, by the way. It gets Phantombass as well, so it's not like stuck in. You can get some very nice momentum with that mon, and same of course with Vaporeon as well. Can't really pass stats with Phantombass. I think it gets acid armor, but you can still just Phantombass out to get some momentum. Heal Bell once again support, so I'm not stuck with Togekiss. I want to heal, want to have a Cleric on the team. I can still run Togekiss offensive and still have Vaporeon on the team for Heal Bell support. But yeah, Vaporeon, pretty one-dimensional, has pretty big wishes with 1/3 HP stat. There's like only a few ones which send out bigger wishes, like the Chansey line, Mola, these mons. Gives me water immunity as well, so basically I'm forcing already all water types to run Toxic, or yeah, because usually the water types are defensive ones, so Grass or Electric coverage is not doing too much damage to Vaporeon, so most of them will be running Toxic, and then I can capitalize on that with my Nidoqueen. Like, let's say I have Nidoqueen inverse the water type, I can predict him to go for Toxic, be immune to that, and hit him with a move, or other way around, I get a free switch in Nidoqueen and can go for Shiva's boosted Thunderbolt. All this good stuff. Having a water immunity is always nice. You can just easily switch into water types because the secondary coverage is more often than not just Ice Beam, which I resist as well. And yeah, that's basically Vaporeon. It's just a bulky water. It wishes your mons back up, which is very nice for stuff like Nidoqueen, which lack reliable recovery. And yeah, heal that as well, and getting some Scald Burns. That's all I'm gonna ask from Vaporeon right here. So next up, like I said, I want my Steel type. I talked about that already. My team is still a bit weak to Ice. I have 2 Ice weaknesses and only 1 resist, and I want to get my Steel type next. And you can probably already guess what Steel type I got, because it's my basically the Steel type I get the most in draft leagues, and other than Cobalion. Cobalion just always turns out to be the best Steel type left when I get to drafting. It's funny. I think it's the 4th or 5th time I drafted this thing. Might even be the 6th. I don't know. But yeah, I always get my Steel type in the later rounds. Like, I usually don't get the Steel type in my first rounds, where I can get like Extra Drills or Jirachi, stuff like that. And Cobalion is always the best around. And actually, I think in this draft, or how the draft is currently formed, it's actually doing better than in my last season's draft with the GPA. And that is because your Steel type is more often than not, you want to have your Steel type to be a Fairy resist. Sadly, Cobalion does have the Fighting typing, so it's neutral to Fairy, not resist. So it's not a good switch in, but this time I actually have Nidoqueen already, which is a great Fairy resist and Fairy switch in, so I can still rely on Cobalion to be my Steel type. And yeah, basically Cobalion, to just repeat what I usually do. Nice mixed potential with 90 special attack stat, 90 attack stat, Volt Switch momentum, it gets Stealth Rocks, it's pretty fast, Close Combat is very nice, Rock Polish is very nice, can run a Dual Dance set. And yeah, it's bulky, it can be offensive, it's more of a utility mon, I want to say. With Z, if I Z-Crystal it can be a very nice sweep as well. I never really planned it to use it as sweeper last season of the GBA, but it always turned out to get a lot of kills, and I hope I can recreate that. Of course, Justified nice ability, if it resists knockoff, and if I get knocked off I get a +1 boost as well, making this thing very threatening for the opposition. But yeah, that's basically Cobalion. Very fast utility Steel type, which has the potential to sweep as well. And yeah, I don't want to speak too much about Cobalion, but because I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot since I drafted so much. So yeah, let's move on to the next one already. And the next one is actually a mon I drafted similar to Nidoqueen very early right here, and that is because it was in a lower tier than actually in the GBA. And it is a returning member of the Borussia Donphan as well, and the mon is none other than Laurentis. Laurentis is actually a tier 5 in this draft. I used Laurentis last season of GBA for the first time. I was very impressed on how well it did. I think it's a very good tier 4 draft type, and in this draft it was a tier 5. How can I say no to that? I just can't. I drafted Laurentis once again, and now I have my course finished. I just need a Dragon type, so I got everything checked I want on my team, like my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, my Water and Grass type, my Electric Immunity, my Hazard Removal, my Hazards, and my Dragon type. The only thing missing is basically the Dragon type. I still have 5 picks to go, and a lot of Dragons were still around. But I just wanted, right now already, to get basically the best tier 5 in my eyes in this draft, which is none other than Laurentis. It's great with contrary running, can easily run mix with Superpower or Leaf Storm, gets great coverage, has Defog as well, so I get a secondary Hazard Remover in addition to Togekiss, and of course Mio, but like I just said, we don't want to see Mio as a Hazard Remover on this draft. And yeah, that is Laurentis for you. Great coverage, Leech Life, knockoff, contrary. You're never running Leaf Guard with this thing. It's sadly a bit slow. With Trick Room support it can do well, but so far my team is not really looking like a Trick Room team. I'm decently fast, and my only Trick Room is Mew, so we will see if I can fix that with other picks, but so far it's just more of a defensive option or like a bulky offense option. In general, my team is looking like very bulky offense, looking at Mew, Nidoqueen, Togekiss. Vaporeon is more defensive, not really offense, and then Cobalion is very bulky as well, so a lot of bulky offense currently on my team. which I guess is a bit of a change to last season's draft. Bulky offense actually is a style I like a lot. You could already saw that kind of with my Kyurem spreads, which were a lot not straight offense, but more of a bulky offense spread. I like to run these kind of mons a lot in drafting formats. So yeah, I think this draft currently is turning out very well. And looking at the next mon to get, I already knew that I need another tier 4 and that I want another tier 3. So I already knew that I need 2 tier 4s and I need a tier 2 mega. This already knew I want to get. This is what I want to get in the next wheel. I have kind of a pseudo wheel, I want to say, with 13th pick. There's only like, I get my pick on 13th and then 14, 15, 16, 16 again, 15, 14. So 6 months go, and then I'm again. So it's kind of a wheel and kind of not. It's like a pseudo wheel. And yeah, on the next wheel I want to get one of my tier 4s and my tier 2 mega. And one of the best tier 4s, which is always around, which I'm close to never get in actually draft format because I always drafted too late, but I didn't want to allow it this time to happen. I always get sniped, but this time I got it. I got Miltank, great tier 4, reliable recovery, rocks, decently fast, thick fat, scrappy, zap, zipper, 3 awesome abilities, of course thick fat being the primary one, to use defensively to be additional ice resist and additional fire resist. And Sepsis were of course nice being under grass immunity. And yeah, it's just overall a great mon. Can be especially defensive, can be physically defensive, or just a sweeping set with curse potentially. I brought that already with a few people in tournaments, because they always kind of get up Miltank, like these draft tournaments. You only draft like 8 mons, stuff like that. They often get Miltank, but like in real leagues, quote unquote real leagues, I never really get Miltank. But this time I got it. I'm very happy with that. I'm a big fan of Miltank. Gives me another cleric as well, and with Laurentis, which is the Royal Therapy user as well. I have now 4 clerics on my team. I think Mew gets heal battle as well, something like that. So I've got, basically status is not a thing with my team. But either way, it's an additional Stealth Rocker, so that basically opens up Nidoqueen and Cobalion being my Stealth Rocker, which was a weakness of my, or even Mew as Stealth Rocker. Which was a weakness of my GBA draft, I must say, that more often than not I was forced to run Cobalion or Krookodile as my Stealth Rocker, and both of them want to be offensive or I want other moves, so I was like, so often I brought like choice Stealth Rocks, it's not even funny. So this time I can have a bit less pressure on my more offensive monster than Stealth Rocks if I have my defensive Stealth Rocker and Miltank. So that's why I want the Miltank. Great mon overall. I think it's great value for a tier 4. In the beginning, in some leagues, it's even tier 5, and it's tier 5, just grab it in round 4 or something like that, because otherwise you're not getting it. Because other people see the value in it. But yeah, that's Miltank for you. Next up, like I said, I want my Mega, and I want the tier 2 Mega, and of course the prime tier 2 Mega, I always look at this Mega Absol, but I got Mega Absol so often, and I want to change something up. So, another tier 2 Mega which I looked at was, of course, Mega Blastoise, but I already got my Vaporeon. If I wouldn't have gotten Vaporeon there, I was thinking about getting Mega Blastoise as my tier 2 Mega. But one tier 2 Mega I was looking at, which I definitely want to use, because he looks so fun to use. He's very one-dimensional, but he has a very nice thing in flying spam, and that's none other than Mega Pidgeot. Right now, my team is looking very nice in regards to flying spam. I got Tokus already, which can spam Air Slash. I got Mega Pidgeot, which can spam Hurricane. With No God, of course, I'm not missing my Heat Waves. Mega Pidgeot, of course, being very, very one-dimensional. It's fast, it's a special attacker, it can spam Hurricane, has Heat Wave for coverage, and then it has U-Turn, Work Up, Defog, Hidden Power of Choice. Something like that. You can even be physical and run Brave Bird if you really want to, but with 80 attacks, that so in comparison to 135 special attack set, that's not really what you want to do. But either way, that is Mega Pidgeot. I definitely want to use him. I like that it's a very threatening fast mon, which forces a specific mons to counter it, and it gets U-Turn. So basically, I send off Mega Pidgeot, I say, I click Hurricane right here, switch out into your check, I just click U-Turn on the rock type, I U-Turn out there, and then I free switch into my Cobalion, into my Laurentis, into my Nidoqueen, into my Mew, into my Vaporeon, into future picks, and I can go on from there. I love these monsters which are very threatening and get U-Turn. Volt Switch, of course, is a bit more difficult because you don't always switch out with Volt Switch because of immunities to electric, but with U-Turn you're guaranteed to switch out, and I like these kind of mons. And that's why I like Mega Pidgeot. I want to try him out. One of the new mons I was looking forward to use in this draft. And yeah, I hope it can put in a lot of work. Similar to Mew, I never used this guy before. So we'll have to figure out how well I am in using this bird right here. I don't think it should be. It is as difficult as Mew, because Mega Pidgeot is pretty straightforward. It's usually like 3 attacks Roost, or like 4 attacks, or 3 attacks Work Up, or 3 attacks Substitute. There's not too much you can do with Mega Pidgeot, but what it can do, it can help your overall strategy in the draft, because as one-dimensional it is, as same one-dimensional will be the prep for it, and that's something you can sometimes try to capitalize on. But yeah, let's make a Pidgeot. Next up, I knew I had to get a second tier 4, and my speed tiers are looking kind of off. Like, I got Mew, and then I got Mega Pidgeot at 121. I kind of need a one in between that. I already got Cobalion, but still the speed gap between Cobalion in 108 and Mega Pidgeot in 121 is it's a bit too high for me. I want a bit more speed, basically. That's what I was saying. My team is decently fast already. My slowest monster so far is Vaporeon, I think, or yeah, Vaporeon. No, Laurentis, of course. Laurentis is pretty slow. But I want some speed. I was missing some priority. The only priority I had so far is like, I don't know, Quick Attack on Mega Pidgeot, Quick Attack on Cobalion, Sucker Punch on Nidoqueen, and then priority moves on Mew, like no, and Extreme Speed on Togekiss. So no quote-unquote real priority. It's like very meme priority, I want to say, very niche priority. You only use a few matches. And I was missing a few roles I still like to fill. They are not necessary for a draft, which I like to fill, which are Pursuit Trappers and stuff like that. In one mount, which is fast, Pursuit Trapping, it's a tier 4, and in addition to that, its Orbital Ice type is none other than Sneasel. Like you already know, in my ICBA champion run, I'm a big fan of Sneasel. Put in a lot of work for me. The stats do not show really how good this mon is. With only 95 attack stat, but with 115 speed, this thing can put in a lot of work. You already know how threatening Weavile is. This is the little brother of it. Not as threatening, sadly not as fast, but it still outspeeds a lot of stuff, and sadly not as strong, but still its knockoffs on Ice Press do hurt. And then we got Ice Shot, we got Taunt, we got Low Kick, we got all these coverage moves for my boy Sneasel. And I'm very happy what it did in my ICBA draft, and I hope it can pull through right here as well. And yeah, definitely Sneasel, like I said, it's very one-dimensional as well. But it can do some other fun stuff, which I didn't get to use in the ICBA, which I looked at. And yeah, I hope it can pull in a lot of work there as well. So, now, regarding my last two picks. Like you see from my draft, you're already screaming last, where the hell is your dragon? You already said in round 5 that your dragon is missing, and you're drafting all these other mons. Where the hell is your dragon? I could wait a lot for my dragon, because I knew I could afford a tier 1 dragon. And looking at the other drafts, they either didn't have enough points to still get a tier 1, like they already got their 2 tier 1s, which is most of the times the only tier 1s you're gonna get, barring you get like a very low mega. Or they already had a dragon. So that's why I could wait a long time for the dragon I could get. And the 2 dragons I was looking at in tier 1, which are still left, are Salamence and Dragonite. And actually I thought Salamence would fit my draft better, but that got sniped one round before, so I had to get my other dragon, and this is not other than Dragonite. Like I already mentioned, I like Dragonite a lot. I got only one Sally in a draft, and in GPC season 3, 4, 5, something around that, I got Dragonite, and I was a big fan of that. That was even before Zemos were introduced, and Dragonite just has a lot of options. Of course, everyone is scared. Everyone is shitting their pants of the standard Dragon Dance, Extreme Speed, Dragon Move, Earthquake, blah blah blah. These kind of stats. Because with multi-scale, if you have that up, you basically have one guaranteed Dragon Dance, and then you have a very easy time sweeping through the team with your 134 attack stat. Decent speed and plus 80. If you have plus 1, you basically outspeed everything which is not scarfed, and things which are scarfed need to be able to deliver plus 1 extreme speed, and otherwise I do kill them with my Dragonite. But because people are so scared about that, it's so easy to just run a different set with Dragonite versus be it a special set, it gets Hurricane and all this good stuff, it gets Surf, it gets Thunder, so many nice moves on Dragonite, and it gets some nice utility as well in Thunder Wave and Defog and all this good stuff. I love how threatening Dragonite is in one particular set, and that opens the door for other Dragonite sets, because if you can just throw them off with that, you basically are you have a very easy time breaking through the team, depending on, of course, if your opponent preps you, you won't. But it's kind of an advantage, I want to say, you have if you draft just such a threatening sweeper as Dragonite. There's not a lot of mons which, if they click the setup moves, you are very likely to lose, barring you have your check that preserved till the late game. There are other examples of that are like Manaphy with Tailglow, or like other Dragon Dance sweeper like Salamence, but I think I want to say Dragonite is a bit more threatening, because Salamence you can still outspeed the Scarfers at +1. Of course, it's a bit more faster than base 100, but Salamence with a Dragon Dance up is not as threatening as a Dragonite with a Dragon Dance up, in my opinion, just because of the extreme speed priority with which you can still pick off the the other Scarfers, and you out-prioritize other priorities. So the opposing Ice Shot, you can just out-prioritize, go for extreme speed and potentially kill them. So that's why I think Dragonite is just with setup the more scary mount, but Salamence is without setup already scarier. Like a vanilla Dragonite versus a vanilla Salamence. Salamence is the more threatening mount. It's a bit more special attack set, more special options. But yeah, that got sniped. But I'm still, of course, happy with my Gen 1 Dragon Wonder being my boy Dragonite. And yeah, and this just overall adds another thing to my flying spam weakness, because if I Z this Mon with Hurricane or Z Fly and Mega Pidgeot and Togekiss, no one is going to be safe from my flying stabs. And yeah, that's Dragonite. Now going for my last one. You look at my draft, you see two types which are missing, and now I have to make a decision what I want to get. One thing my team is missing is an electric type. A fast electric type, which I don't think is necessary for a draft, but it's definitely helping to have an electric type on your team, because bulky waters are everywhere. So far my grass type is Laurentis, which of course is a lower tier grass type, so I can't really guarantee that to KO the bulky waters of my opponent. And the other thing which is missing is of course a fire type to fill the water, fire, grass core. Of course, I don't think a fire, water, grass core is necessary. I think a water, grass core already covers everything you need. The only thing which fire covers in addition to these things is bug. Like you're not weak to bug anymore if you have a fire type. It covers the bug weakness of your grass type. Other than that, fire more than often just adds more weaknesses. But fire, of course, is a nice offensive typing. So what I will have to decide right here: do I get an electric type to help with bulky waters, or do I get a fire type to help with like steel types and stuff like that? I had to make a decision right here. I could still afford a tier 3 Mon, so I had options for both in this tier, and what I actually decided is to get both. I got Rotom Heat, it fits electric type, it's my fire type. We don't have to decide right here. We got both in one Mon, and you already know Rotom Heat, I was a big fan of that 2 seasons ago in the GBA. At first I thought, okay, it's Rocks Week, I don't really like that Mon too much, but with the addition of Defog on that and removing hazards being pretty easy with the new addition of new additional defogger of this gen, Rotom Heat can easily pull through. Even back in that season where not every Mon had defog, this Mon could pull through. And right now in this draft, I am decently Rocks Week, I want to say. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Rocks Week. Okay, that's pretty Rocks Week. God damn it. But yeah, I'm not breaking all of them in one team, you can guarantee that. But I got as well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defoggers. So I got more defoggers than I got Rock Weaknesses, so at least I got that. But either way, Rotom Heat, very nice defensively. Very nice defensively, you already know I love these electric types which get fire coverage, like Mega Man Electric, like Step Striker, and Rotom Heat actually got stab on its fire move as well. So grass types are not a check to this as an electric Mon, but yeah, that's Rotom Heat. Got Pain Spray, got Will-O-Wisp, you know what it can do, can be easily offensive, can be easily defensive. Overall, it's a great Mon, I think. If you ask me what one weakness is, like I already mentioned, it's the Rock's weakness on a few of my Mons, but I rarely will bring many of them in one team, and if I do, then I will definitely have a hazard removal on my team. But maybe, I mean, I will see throughout the season. It's definitely a weakness, like I can't over sugar talk it. It is a weakness of this draft. If it gets too much over the hand, I might make some transfers, but other than that, I'm very happy with the draft I have right here. Let me know, of course, in the comments what you think about the draft, and the most important thing, give me nicknames. This draft I actually don't know, I know a few nicknames, but a lot of nicknames are still open to discussion. So if you got any fun nickname ideas, just put them in the comments, and there's a very high chance that I might pick you. And other than that, let me know in the comments. Let me know how excited you are for this season of the Pokémon Masters Cup. We're of course going for the cup again. Roller to the cup. You already know the theme of me and draft leagues. And yeah, that's all from me. I was Time. Ciao. So one thing to add at the end of this, I totally forgot to talk about my Z captains and my Z Mons I chose. So looking at Z Mons, it's a similar system, well actually the same system as we used last season in the GBA, meaning you have 100 Z points, tier 1 costs 80, tier 2 costs 60, tier 3 50, tier 4 40, and tier 5 20. So basically combinations are a tier 1 and a tier 5, a tier 2 and a tier 4, or 2 tier 3s, and that's like only if you want to use the maximum of points. Of course you can do stuff like a tier 2 and a tier 5, but these are like the main combinations. And the main combinations I was looking at were of course the big question of my Z move run. Is I want to have Z Mew or do I want to have Z Dragonite? One of the two I had to decide, and then because of that I would have to Z Laurentis. Other options of course are like the Z Togekiss or or Togekiss and then Sneasel or Miltank, which is not really an option. Another decent option I want to say could have been to Z Nidoqueen, Cobalion or Rotom Heat, mainly Cobalion or Rotom Heat. That could have been a decent option, but I really want to either Z Mew or Dragonite. These are like the prime examples I can look for, and then Z Laurentis as well. So the main question is, do I want to Z Mew or do I want to Z Dragonite? And this was actually a bit of a harder question for me. I couldn't really figure out what I really want to do. I did ask some other people. For that point I actually asked for advice. Usually I don't like doing that. asking for advice during draft. Like, you already know that I don't have a front office because I'm a very proud guy. I like to win and stuff like on my own. I like to draft on my own, but sometimes in scenarios like this, I like to ask people what they would do, and then I can use their choice to kind of inspire me or even influence me in a certain direction. But yeah, this time I actually asked other people, and what I can agree on what they said as well is that I should choose the Dragonite, which I actually did. And the main option I did with that is that most of my default cards, barring Laurentis and Mew, since my team is rather rock weak, I already said in the analysis itself, Mew might be forced to defog more than I like, because I might not get to defog with more of my rock weak monsters if I want to use more offensive. So Mew is still my best defogger, even with all the other defoggers I got. So it might be more forced in that role, and so I don't want to put a Z-move on that. And Dragonite just helps being it more threatening offensively. Like I said, my team is rather bulkier offense, and having a more offensive threatening mon with Z Dragonite, which just straight up sweeps teams. Like, get a Dragon Dance up, and then I can just sweep teams basically, barring they have like some fancy prep for that. So yeah, basically to give him a bit more punching power and to not force me. Like, if one of you wants the Z captains, you always think, okay, which Z moves put I on? Now I don't have to struggle with Mew. I can do anything I like with that, and I have a bit more punching power with Dragonite, which in most scenarios is going to be a setup variant, and sweep my opponent with something some Z-move shenanigans. Whereas Mew is more viable to be more of a defensive option, in which case it doesn't need the Z Crystal, more like what's a Cover Barrier or Leftovers or Rocky Helmet, something like that. Either way, that's why Dragonite and Laurentis are my Z captains. That's all I want to say at the end. And yeah, now it's the actual end of the draft. Now you can actually tell me what you think about it. And yeah, be excited for the matches. They will be uploaded next week, and I will see you there. Ciao.